It is his first time cheek pieces.
Yeah, and then he was third in this last year, wasn't he? Different ground conditions to what is probably optimum for him. He hasn't won since he won this race.
Okay, let's head up here quickly and quickly see Il était temps. Last time we saw him was taking a heavy fall in the Clarence house. It took a while to get up from that. The key thing is they've taken the hood off, and that might help him go the early fractions.
Yeah, may well do. It's an angle that I quite like, a hood coming off, particularly when a horse has been going like he has been going. I think he looks very well. It was a nasty fall last time out, and it's just whether that's knocked his confidence a bit.
Yeah, I asked Rich Toyles about the impact of a fall, and actually horses that fell last time out have got a higher than expected delivery rate at the Cheltenham Festival. Lossiemouth managed it last year, 2 years ago. Corbett's Cross managed it over fences, albeit the fall probably wasn't entirely his fault.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's probably a thing that we over-factor in terms of the market that they took a fall. Still not going to call it a positive.
No, I think that's fair. That's the report from the paddock.
To the other horses, Mark Walsh is getting them out now. He's fine now, he's off and running now.
He was the first out, and yeah, he's fascinating. Those cheek pieces, another balance horse with the cheek pieces. They didn't half work last time.
They did work around Leopardstown on soft ground. Whether he's going to have the same luxury today, as in he's not going to get hassled for the lead, I question that myself. Liberty Hunter will be one of the horses from out the back of the bigger prices that might be just trying to nick as much prize money as he can.
When you've got a horse like Madgeborough in there, what is Harry Skelton trying to do with Loda Sud?
Well, I can guarantee you he won't be giving him much rope, so he won't be. And if Madgeborough makes a mistake at any of them fences down the back straight, I can guarantee you Harry Skelton will pounce, and he will try and seize the initiative and try get Madgeborough on the back foot.
What, take it up, you mean, and force the
issue? Just make him go, make him forward, and if he does try get Madgeborough out of his comfort zone or out of his rhythm, because that's the best way you can beat Madgeborough, is trying to get him out of his comfort zone. If you leave it to him all of his own and let him get a freebie from the front, Mark will be able to dictate what he wants to do from the front end.
Fascinating renewal of the Queen Mother Champion Chase, Nick.
Surely is. We were just talking about some of the horses that have raced in these colours that haven't delivered. Defi de Soy was 2-5 to win this. John Bon was he odds on last year? John Bon, I think he was, wasn't he?
Was he odds on?
Yeah,
I remember Defi de Soy shackling for Swallows in the race, and he came out at the 11th hour and looked like Defi de Soy. Just had to go and run in the race. But yeah, it's this race has been kind of thrown up some funny results in recent years.
It certainly has. For every Sprinter Sacra or Masterminded or Moscow Flyer, there's been a New Mill or a Big Zeb or a Put the Kettle On or Captain Guinness. Margeborough 6-5 on. He's keen and aggressive on the way to post, and I'd imagine that's how he's going to be allowed to roll today.
I think that's positive, isn't it? You want to see him going like that. You're like Mark Walsh. I think didn't Willie Mullins say after the race at Leopardstown that it was Mark Walsh's idea to put cheek pieces on him and let him roll. That's exactly what he did, and yeah, I'm sure he's going to do the same today.
And front runners have been seeing such good effect in this meeting on this slick surface. Is the ground a worry with Margeborough? His two sort of signature career performances, Chris, have come on quite deep ground.
Yeah, it perhaps is a little bit of a doubt. When he won at Punchestown last year, it was decent ground, wasn't it? So it shouldn't be too much of a bother for him. But you might argue that his absolute peak performances have been on a slower surface, and maybe the tempo of the race on a slower surface being a little bit slower makes him less inclined to throw in an error, or if he does make one, then it's not at such high speed and less likely to have an impact. But if he puts it all together like he can, then he'll be very, very hard to beat this afternoon. I think you can easily argue that the price is bigger than it should be, given how much I believe he has in hand in terms of raw ability.
Wonderful to see left the Harties, Eddie and Patrick Harty, the training combination, opting to roll the big dice with Irish Panther, who could be right up there in the mix with Margeborough early.
He could. It's a brave shout, and fair play to them for having a go, because even his run against Romeo Cooley was a massive run. He won the beginner's chase and Ace the time before that, and he and Romeo Cooley had July Flower 12 lengths behind him. He just got run down by Romeo Cooley, but that was over 17 furlongs on ground that was a little bit softer than today's, back over just the bare 2 miles, not even quite 2 miles. That's going to suit him well.
A little bit of support for Founder 50, who's a standing dish in races like this. You can easily forgive the last run, attending a scorching pace on very soft ground. Margeborough 6-5 on. Il était temps. It was a brilliant winner of the Tingle Creek and the Celebration Chase when he brushed aside John Bon both times. Hood's off today. Mullins believes he's back, but he'll have to be right right back to contend with his own stable companion, who's lining up to the front and on the inside. Watch him go. Here's the Queen Mother Champion Chase with Stuart Machin.
They're off. Away first time in the BetMGM Queen Mother Champion Chase. Quilixios in the red, white and blue is one of the first to show up with a pair of greys. Lotus Hood in the yellow and red, and Il Etat, the yellow and purple. Stars Liberty Hunter makes a bad mistake at the first. Good sit by Sean Bowen. Quickly recovers his poise as Quilixios leads them over the second. Now pressured on the right by Marjora with a white cap, who drops in a couple of lengths off the pace setter. Lotus Hood chasing the leading duo on down towards the third, being followed by Il Etat, then Captain Guinness in the cheek pieces to Irish Panther in the green and white, who races out wide. Brookie in the dark blue and white is in the last group of four, followed by Founder 50, the red cap, and then Liberty Hunter and Sansegal, orange jacket, is held up at the back of the field. They're already bearing down on the fourth, and Marjora, with a prodigious leap, came right alongside Quilixios, and they've just got a little break on the pursuers as they turn to meet rising ground and head on towards the fifth. So Marjora side by side with Quilixios, 3 or 4 lengths ahead of Irish Panther, now heading the pursuit. Lotus Hood is going to take off and land in fourth place ahead of Captain Guinness and the other of the greys, Il Etat, and then another small break to Liberty Hunter and Brookie. Sansegal is being pulled up at the back of the field, being pulled up quickly. Sansegal, Founder 50, the only other one still going, is somewhat detached, and Marjora, with a spring-heeled leap, is beginning to stretch him out as they move on towards halfway. Founder 50 in last place, jumping way out to his right, and he's being eased right off. Marjora then on towards the water jump, 4 or 5 lengths ahead of Quilixios, Irish Panther in third. Lotus just ahead of Il Etat to Captain Guinness. 3 or 4 lengths away, the nose-banded Liberty Hunter, followed by Brookie. Founder 50 has been pulled up. Marjora was wrong at the ditch, pitched on landing, didn't appear to halt his momentum. He's still clear of Quilixios. Similar margin away to Irish Panther, racing wide of the grey Lotus Hood as they head to the top of the hill, and Marjora's jumping at the last couple of fences. Just let him down slightly. He was long there and he left trailing hind legs, and they head across the top of the track towards the open ditch. 4 out in the BetMGM Queen Mother Champion Chase. Marjora, a couple of mistakes, just taken some of the fizz out of him. A reduced lead there over Quilixios. Lotus Hood landing in third ahead of Irish Panther. Captain Guinness in 5th place, the former winner of the race, just ahead of Il Etat, and then a gap to Liberty Hunter and Brookie, and they swing on down the hill, making the run towards the third last. Marjora and Mark Walsh narrowly over Quilixios and Dara O'Keefe in the red, white and blue. Lotus Hood is beginning to bear down on the leading duo, easing up to within 2 lengths of the lead. Then a break to Irish Panther. Captain Guinness down on the Il Etat is out wide. Here's the third last. Marjora taken on, he ploughed through it, and he dragged his hind legs across the ground, and he surrenders the lead, and Quilixios goes breezing on by. Lotus Hood, though, covering the move. Skelton sitting quietly. They're about to swing for home. 2 fences left to jump, and Skelton takes a nonchalant look across his right shoulder. He'll see that Il Etat is improving to go third. Marjora now weakening away. Quilixios on the crown of the bend. A pair of greys, though, cutting him back. Il Etat on the left. Lotus Hood between them. Il Etat's gone sweeping on by, jumping on between the final 2 fences. Lotus Hood chasing. Here's the last. Il Etat comes up over ball, pitches on landing. Irish Panther is nearly down. Il Etat regathers the momentum. He's still clear halfway up the run-in, and it's Townend and Mullins in the BetMGM Queen Mother Champion Chase. Il Etat has run them ragged to win. Liberty Hunter is second, Lotus Hood is third, then Captain Guinness, Quilixios, Irish Panther and Marjora disappointing.
A race of 2 halves for Willie Mullins. The first half, his Marjora, his favourite, was spectacular. The second half, he fell apart and upstepped Il Etat, rather as the trainer imagined, on this better ground with a hood off and with Paul Townend at his brilliant patient best. Il Etat has added the Queen Mother Champion Chase to his roll of Grade 1s, and he gets one here at Cheltenham. Who said he didn't like this place this afternoon? He has loved it. Mullins adds a champion chase to a champion hurdle. It's 5 for him for the meeting so far. Townend with 4 41 successes at the festival, and this one of his easiest and breeziest, despite that scare at the last, but he wasn't the only one.
He wasn't. What a performance by CHELTENHAM, Nick. I was one of the ones who said that Sheldon wasn't this track. He's run here 3 times before. He's been beaten all 3 times, but Willie Mullins had plenty of faith in him. Paul Townend had loads of faith in him. Rode him cold out the back, rode him patiently, made his ground. Gradually on the run down the hill, Lotus Sud had chased down the pace, got the better of Calixios after Majborough had wilted, but all the while Paul Townend just delivered with CHELTENHAM with that run. The only scare, well, the biggest scare was at the final fence when he jumped it well and just seemed to pitch on landing. Paul Townend sat tight and drove him to come right away from his rivals up the hill.
Yeah, and the colours of the Hollywood Bets partnership, Craig and Wayne Keys veteran, family and friends. Big result for South Africa, for Barnan Stud. They've been massive supporters. That could have gone very, very wrong, but he had a man who knows how to retain his equilibrium in the saddle.
Yeah, it'd have been a huge shame if that had been his undoing, because he'd moved into it really well and he jumped really well to that point, and jumping was the key, wasn't it? I mean, Majborough, for the first half of the race, he was exuberant and he was at times spectacular, but 6 out he made an error, 5 out he made more of one, and 3 out he was done for with that mistake.
He was, and that left it to Calixios, who's run a great race again despite his advancing years. And there's a big look over his right shoulder from Harry Skelton. I don't think it was a look of I've got this wrapped up. I think it's a look of where's Paul Townend.
I agree with that exactly. I'd say he was looking at Dara and thinking he's got Calixios cooked, and he's going, oh man, Majborough was beaten after setting. I'm sure he knew it was a strong pace that he set, and he's looking in behind to see where CHELTENHAM is, and in bad news for Harry Skelton, he's right in his wing mirrors.
I mean, the huge run has come at a massive price from Liberty Hunter. The royal blue colours out wide the sheepskin noseband. He's run on for second. It wasn't unforeseen by some, as Irish Panther makes a bad mistake at the last. Liberty Hunter, a first run officially for Kath Williams, who's had to take over the licence this week because her husband Evan has been found guilty of assaulting a gentleman on his land, and she will retain the licence for the...
Good luck. And we're away and racing. 6, 5 and 1 brightest away, then 3 and 4, 1 in the lead though, Abigail Sunny. 5 and 6 not giving in, turning full from 6, 1.
Remember how worried we were about him as he lay by that fence at Ascot. He was exhausted, and what a brave horse to bounce back like this. And he was fancied clearly, because you could have got 9-2 a while back on CHELTENHAM. He's won at 5-2. Liberty Hunter has run an absolute cracker in second, running for Evan Williams' wife these days. That's because Evan Williams himself is no longer a licensed trainer right now. He's been found guilty of assault, so running in her name, and Liberty Hunter picked up the pieces to finish in second place. But this was the last fence scare from side on, Luke.
Yeah, he just made it a little bit short, and you've seen horses do that before. You just take a couple of strides, Meg, and sometimes you've just got to be careful that you don't get tipped out the front door, don't you? Oh, look at that.
He's done a little wrong actually over the fence. I think he met it well, and he's just landed a little bit steep and almost tripped and nodded on landing. Luckily he found a leg, and away up the hill he went. But I loved listening to Paul then talking about this horse, because as we said, he had that fall at Ascot. He was very tired. Willie saying beforehand, for whatever reason, he just wasn't firing. He just showed nothing in the parade ring beforehand. A different horse here at Cheltenham today, but Paul's saying how brave he is. He's tough, so courageous, and this afternoon we saw the best version of CHELTENHAM that we could possibly have seen, and yeah, he was pretty magical there.
I hope Craig Kieswetter, the former England cricketer, is here. Barnane Stud, the owners. What a servant this horse has been for them. Liberty Hunter, Luke, dropped out the back, picked up the pieces, finished second in a champion chase.
Yeah, he's run an extraordinary race. He goes particularly well around here. He didn't run badly in the game spirit last time, and he was running on, but of course you're always going to get that. That's why in these big races you get big prize horses running on, because they go so hard in front that they all stop, and that's how he's managed to get to second place.
Lotus Sud, no excuses, ran well?
No, I think he's run really well. He travelled into it nicely. He was pretty much upsized the winner throughout the race, just didn't have the extra gear that was required. Possibly the ground could have been a little bit on the sharp side for Lotus Sud, I would imagine, but Connections, I'm sure, will be very proud of him.
And if you did back Majborough a short price, Luke, in a race like that, you're going settle down marks. He used up a lot of petrol early on, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
It was the start. Once you get on the back foot, once you miss the break,
like John Bon in the same colours.
No, but it's all well and good blaming the starter every time. The actual start is part of race riding. It's your job. Sometimes you can miss a beat, but it's your job to get the best start you possibly can.
He probably didn't get in the rhythm that you wanted to get in. You wanted him to be out first and him to dictate.
He's on the back foot from the World Cup.
And then over the first, second, third, he's catching up, and then they're going faster because he's racing inside the horse. But that's all credit to the winner. To win 7 Grade 1s, you have to have a lot of talent. But after having a fall at Ascot last time, you have to be tough, and that's what all good horses do. And you speak to someone like Aidan O'Brien, they'll tell you they have to be. They have to be tough. All good horses are tougher than all the rest. That's what makes them better.
We obviously say how this horse is very tough, and it was a pretty rare fall for him last time. But if we just compare him and Marshborough quickly, and Ruby will be able to speak about this more, but AP Ilite Trump is so agile. He can get long, he can go into the boards and dance off them, and very quick. Marshborough, for me, looks one-dimensional, and if he gets it wrong, there's sort of no way of fixing that. If he's in too tight, he lands back end first. If he's really long, which he can be, we can see he's walked through a couple of fences, and there's so little margin for error. This fella here, he just has the ability to change at whatever stride is required.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt this lad was very good, especially at the last fence. But Marshborough, he was good and forward all the way, and then he started to change a little bit, and there was a little bit of indecision, and yeah, he's not great at getting in tight, but I definitely don't think you can leave it up to Marshborough, that's for sure. You can't be letting him make the decision. But look, I think we should all be about the winner, to win a champion chase, to have won 7 Grade 1s and come back after that fall. All credit to the winner.
Spike earlier on warned people at home. Anthony Comisca's AK bets likewise. Marshborough beaten. Here's the hero. What a terrific little horse Ilite Temps is. For Hollywood Racing and Barnan Stud. For Paul Townend, a 41st winner at the festival. He's done the big double. No feel he did 9 years ago. The Champion Hurdle and Queen Mother Champion Chase. Willie Mullins wins it for a 3rd time. Ilite Temps. Yes, Marshborough was short, but this horse was fancied clearly, as I say. Back down to 5-2 in the end. Ilite Temps. Liberty Hunter was second at a big price, and it was each way first 3 with 10 runners. And it was Lodasu who finished in 3rd at 13-2. Looking forward to Ruby's analysis of this one. Another unpredictable BetMGM Queen Mother Champion Chase. A graveyard for favourites in recent years, and it's happened again. Marshborough well beaten on what's turning out to be another grey day at Cheltenham.